Good morning and welcome to the Teacher's Wake Up Call Strike Edition. And not just Strike Edition, this is, don't want to say like the official, unofficial 25th anniversary of my teaching career, but it's kind of like the first day. It's the first day of two. And I think today I'm going to tell you the story about how I got my first teaching contract. So I had to look up an old 1998 calendar just to make sure I wasn't mistaken on the dates. But okay, I have to backtrack a bit. So when I finished my degree, which was the first cohort of the new 4-year bachelor degree for teaching from 94 to 98. And I will tell another story in another video about that. But I we were a group of 35 students in this cohort for French mother tongue. So I'm going to put down my coffee because I know that I'm going to be talking with my hands. So we finished our bachelor's with the assurance that we were going to find a job. We finished our bachelor's degree with the reminder that we were graduating at a time when many teachers were taking their retirement and there would be a plethora of jobs. However, no one bothered to tell us how to apply for these jobs. No one bothered explaining that at that time also there was a change, a shift in how school boards were structured. So no one bothered explaining to us that you don't go to a school to drop off a resume, you go to the school boards and the location of said boards. So if you looked up information in, let's say, like a phone book or the beginning of the internets for information as to where these school boards were located, they probably had like the old information from like the previous school boards, because in the past, school boards were confessional. They were religion based. So you had Catholic school boards, you had Protestant school boards, and so no one university bothered to explain to us like these major changes. So and I remember our end of year luncheon that we all had, and our professors who joined us at our luncheon tried to convince us to go and do a master's degree, and we were looking at them like, honey, we literally just finished 4 years, 4 grueling years of our lives. Like, can we at least get a job? So some of the 35 students, were already doing subbing work in their local schools, in their municipalities, in their towns, or close to where they lived. So that was great, but I wasn't one of them. So like, there were potentially some schools near where I lived, but they never returned my phone calls. So I was literally starting from scratch. I sent my resume. I remember I sent my resume that summer to a couple of, no, I sent it to more than a couple. I sent to, I think, like about 10 private schools, thinking I would have better luck with them. And two bothered returning a response saying thanks, but no thanks. And then I found out that, like, where these school boards were located, and I distinctly remember one school board, um, and and I still don't have good memories of that school board. Um, Basically, I had to have an appointment just to drop off my resume, and they had a security guard in the front, and like right when you got in, and then there was like an antechamber before the foyer, and then there was another security guard at the other end. And the guy in the front basically said, "You need an appointment just to drop off your resume." It's like, I'm just dropping off. I'm not meeting anyone. Can I just drop this off at like HR? Maybe they have a mailbox. No. I was so pissed leaving. It's like, why? Why? So I ended up getting an appointment. Like, I found a phone booth because this was before cell phones. So I found a phone booth, called the school board. Like, I was literally like a block away facing the school board. I called, set an appointment, and the appointment wasn't even for the same day. It's like, yeah, you can come next week. It's like, thankfully, thank you, public transport. Like, I didn't waste that much time. I dropped off my resume at another board, and it was it was a lot of that, a lot of like uncertainty and confusion. Um, Thankfully, I had a part-time job, so it's not like I had no money, but like I was surviving. I was surviving. And then I can't remember how it happened, but um, one of the schools found my name, and I think it was Centre des Services Scolaires, well, at the time it was Commission Scolaire, Marguerite Bourgeois, the French board, and um, they said, "Are you available for substitution?" I'm like, "Yes." And that's it. And then the other school board, the one that had the security guards, and you need an appointment to drop this off. Like, what? Um, Called me and said, "Would you like? We're looking for a sub in grade 2." And I said, "You mean secondary 2?" "No, no, grade 2." And I couldn't understand why. I was trained to teach French in high school. Like, there is a very distinct difference between the two fields. Like, elementary school and high school are, it's like farmer, fisherman. Okay, so you're asking the farmer to go and like fish. It's like, how do I attach the worm? So so I said to the lady, the kind lady at the on the phone, saying, "Well, look, I don't mind doing this because like I need experience, but could you explain to me why I'm being offered a subbing job in an elementary school?" She said, "Well, you before we offer you any substitution posts in high school, you need to do um, a certain number of substitutions in elementary school." I said, "Well, that makes no sense." And I gave her the analogy of the farmer and the fisherman. I said, "Could you at least give me something in grade like um, 5 or 6, 4, but like grade 5 or 6, because that's kind of a bit more like what I'm supposed to be doing?" And she said, "Fine," because like she called me back and she said, I have substitution in kindergarten. It's like, no. So um, after doing a couple of contracts, well, not even contracts, they were a day, day and a half, 2 days, which I was very grateful for. I finally got a phone call from a high school, but it wasn't for Commission Scolaire de Montréal. It was for Commission Scolaire Marguerite Bourgeois, who like never bothered calling me, like from August, September to December. Nothing from them. Nothing. And then all of a sudden, I get a phone call from them um, asking me to come in to do some substitution. And they called me on a Thursday and they said, "It's for Friday. Could you come in Friday?" I went, "Sure, I'll come in Friday, no problem." you know. So, and this school was in Outremont. And for those who are not familiar with Montreal, Outremont is a kind of like a bougie neighborhood, kind of not quite downtown Montreal, but, you know, um, it's basically a place where rich people live. But what I found out that this school was not a bougie high school. It is and it isn't, because you have like some inner city kids, but you also have all of the private school rejects that didn't quite cut it in a private school, and they're sent there. It's basically the neighborhood school for Outremont when you can't go to a private school. So I get in, and the what we call it technicien en organisation scolaire, basically the person who takes care of scheduling, logistics, and in some cases, depending on the school, substitution. This kind man explains to me, let me show you where you're going to be teaching today, but you're going to be coming back on Monday. Okay. I thought it was only for one day. It's like, no, this subbing contract is for one day. You're going to be starting another one on Monday. And I said, oh, okay, for the same subject? No, for English. So I got a subbing contract for one day in French, and I was a bit confused. It's like, wait, so you're asking me to sub for an English class today and the French contract's on Monday? No, the other way around. Wait, what? I was thoroughly confused. Like, well, we really need an English teacher. We are desperate for an English teacher. Um, okay, okay, but why are you asking me? So he said, well, we're supposed to meet the principal after your first period because you have second period off, so we can go and talk about it. So that morning, when I walked into the principal's office, I felt very much like an imposter in every sense of the word, because, like, why are they thinking I will be able to teach English as a second language? So I walk in, and this very, very kind principal says, welcome to our school, welcome to Paul Gérin-Lajoie. Is everything going well so far this morning with your substitution? I said, yes, everything's fine. So on Monday, you're going to be starting a contract with us. We need an English teacher. And I asked him, you do know I'm a French teacher? He says, yes, but your resume says that you have a diploma in English. And that's when it dawned on me. He thought my TOEFL certificate was enough to teach high school English. And I just laughed. I was laughing out loud, and I explained to them that this was a 3-day certificate I got back in 1991, 1992, when I was in Sec 5. And I went to get in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I spent 3 days at Michigan University to pass what is the equivalent of a DELF, but for English, and it's like a B1 level. I don't think it qualifies for teaching in high school in the province of Quebec. And he just stared at me, and he kind of laughed, and he thought, oh, okay, but do you speak English? That's how desperate they were. That's how desperate they were, because they were just happy if I could speak English. And that's how it all started. And that's how it all started. It started with a misunderstanding on my CV, on my resume. And it translated to the start of an adventure. So I'm not going to talk about the strike today because it is my 25th anniversary teaching, being a teacher. So I'm not going to talk about the strike. I might talk about it tomorrow. I might talk about it on Wednesday. I don't know. But today, I just want to celebrate, kind of, sort of, at home. It's a very blah day. I was expecting more snow, but like the snow that's falling is kind of like light and like, so I don't know if it's snowing in your neck of the woods, but over here it's meh. It's meh. On that lovely note, folks, have yourselves a lovely day.